guys, welcome back. It's Vlogmas. I'm not sure what day it is. I've lost my days actually. Anyway, welcome back. Today's been a busy day around here. I've done a lot of work outside and it's very cold. It's like 29 degrees here today. And 40 miles away, they're getting snow. And I got no snow today. And I love snow. So I hope I get some snow by tomorrow. Hopefully that we can have some snow too. I put away some of the totes containing our fall items. Got out our Christmas totes, which is no small feat, let me tell you. I think I have 9 Rubbermaid totes of Christmas decorations to put up. I have the tree up, but now I need to get the lights put on and the decorations and everything. Things have gone wrong today as we've tried to do things. It seems like 2 steps forward and 3 steps back kind of a day, but I've got my supper fixed. I'm having a turkey rice casserole with leftover turkey from Thanksgiving, and that's where I'm at right now. And wanted to stop and come on and say hello to you all and happy Vlogmas. And I still want to talk about these food shortages that we're hearing about. Yesterday's video, I talked about that it's not too late. When you hear discouraging things in the news, you just keep right on prepping. You get what you can when you can get it. If you can't get something today, try to find a substitute or go back in a couple of days and see if you can get it then. There's different ways to combat these shortages. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a different approach. One that I think is a very practical way to go about our prepping. We've talked a lot about the convenience foods and the foods to have that you can just pop a can and have a meal. You know, the beef stew, the chicken and dumplings, canned vegetables, all of those things. And sometimes the convenience foods are good because we don't feel well or we're just in a hurry or life is chaos and we just can't put a meal together, okay? And that's awesome to have those types of foods on hand. But something to think about when we're talking about food shortages and supply chain breakdown and all of those things is, what did our grandmas do during the Great Depression? Our great grandmas, however old you are, but the Great Depression era is kind of what I want to focus on today because they lived with shortages, didn't they? And they lived with sometimes very little money, very little food to feed their families. I've heard stories of my grandma foraging. They had greens. I've never was interested in that. Grandma didn't like fix those, but I've heard them talk about that. My dad and my grandpa hunted for their meat, and that's how they provided for their family. They would go out and either go fishing or go hunting, and that's how they provided for their family. What I'm thinking about along these lines is a Depression era pantry list. Think about cooking from scratch, more basic recipes. To buy items that have a longer shelf life, like your flour and sugar and oatmeal. If you store those correctly, they will last a long time. Be prepared to cook items from scratch instead of the instant potatoes and the instant pudding and the frozen pizzas and that type of thing. Think about cooking from scratch, utilizing those long-term items in our pantry. It's cheaper, much cheaper to make your own than it is to buy something that's already made and packaged and stored. The ingredients store better, they store longer, and it's healthier. It's always healthier to fix and prepare your own items from scratch. That way you're not eating all the preservatives and that type of thing. For example, instead of refrigerated biscuits, make biscuits from scratch. Instead of a frozen pizza, have a homemade pizza and movie night. Make your own pizza crust. It's very easy. I think I have a video up showing my homemade pizza crust, my homemade pizza sauce. And you've seen my videos and you know I do buy frozen pizzas. I love to grab a frozen pizza and throw it in the oven if I'm having a busy day. I'm talking about if we can't get those things, if ways to stock up to assure our family, to assure us that we have ways of cooking for our family. If you stock up on these basic staple ingredients, you'll at least be able to cook meals during food shortages. So that's what I'm talking about today. Some of those staple ingredients for our pantry, and these would be like long-term storage, would be the flour, sugar, spices, Crisco, lard, oil, whatever kind of fats you would need to bake with. butter if you have refrigeration available, eggs. And instead of relying on the store for your eggs, you might check and see if there's a farmer in your area that maybe you could purchase fresh eggs from him. Oatmeal would be a great staple item to have. Rice, beans, those kinds of things. Think back to the kinds of food that Grandma used to make. I can remember a lot of things my grandma used to make that I could easily store those items in my pantry. I'm getting a phone call and I'm seeing the notification. It's distracting me. Think about the economical aspect of cooking like this as well. Let's think about pudding cups versus homemade pudding. A whole pot of coffee versus the little Keurig pods. Keurig is very expensive, but it's convenient, and that's what people like. Think about homemade cookies versus the Hostess and Nabisco treats we all get at Walmart. You've seen my hauls, I buy them too, but homemade cookies are much less expensive and you get more for your money. So those are some ideas I wanted to kind of float out there to you, especially if you have a good prepper pantry set up with the convenience foods and things like that. It might be a good time to turn your thoughts toward a long-term storage plan and thinking about the Depression era cooking. There's a lot of cookbooks that are fun to have. I got one in the mail yesterday. I don't have it here with me. I'll show it to you. Maybe I'll put up a post later, or maybe in tomorrow's vlog I'll stick that up there. But think about the Little House on the Prairie cookbook. That's a great source. I know it's Little House on the Prairie, but I love that cookbook. There's a lot of cookbooks. Betty Crocker. Just start thinking about things like that, recipes from that time era, and see what you come up with. And hopefully that will help combat the food shortage and the supply chain breakdown. We can do it. We can do it if we prepare for it. We'll be able to do it and do well. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.